In the headlines, students protest as gunmen kidnap 17 Lafayette University students in Nasarawa. NYSC confirms release of 2 abducted Corps members in Zamfara. Central Bank raises alarm over counterfeit in circulation. On the foreign scene, Canada hikes proof of funds for Nigerians, others by 100%. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. And now the news in details. The National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) has officially confirmed the release of 2 Corps members who were kidnapped in Zamfara. The Director of Press and Public Relations of the scheme, Imo State, announced that the abducted prospective Corps members were freed on Thursday. The Corps members were abducted while traveling from Oyo, Akwa Ibom to Sokoto State in an Akwa Ibom Transport Company (AKTC) bus to participate in the mandatory national service. Of the 11 kidnapped, 3 managed to escape during the abduction, leaving 8. Mogwa revealed that 1 was rescued on September 1st, while another regained freedom on October 20th, adding that the latest 2 were released on Thursday. 4 members of the Corps are still awaiting rescue. Mogwa expressed the relief felt by the NYSC with the recent successful rescues. According to him, the released Corps members, who are currently receiving medical attention, will be reunited with their families and continue their national service. Now, in another development in its resolve to eradicate criminal elements from the state and ensure a hinge-free Christmas celebration, Imo State Police Command, under the leadership of CP Njuma Aboki, says it has intensified plans to get rid of those whose stock interest is to wreak havoc and destroy the peace of the state. Aboki disclosed this while parading suspected ASN IPOP members who were arrested in the state by the operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit after a heavy gun battle. Trust TV's correspondent, Ajibadi Praise, tells us more.
Speaking at the command's headquarters on Monday, shortly after the operation was carried out, the CP opined that it was yet another huge success recorded by the operative of the anti-kidnapping unit of the command, as they successfully dislodged these dangerous men from their criminal hideouts. The suspects, numbering 17 in number, are between the ages of 18 and 28 years old.
Following the last 2 days arrest of some of the hoodlums, some of them made confessional statements that led the anti-kidnapping units of this command into a thick forest. When they sighted the police team, they engaged the police, the unit on gun duel, and our personnel overpowered them, and it led to the arrest of 17 hoodlums, and they recovered arms.
The kingpin, Chukwuebuka Obi, a native of Ngokwala, in his confessional statement affirmed their involvement in nefarious activities in the state, all in the name of fighting for Biafra.
As the Eastern Security Network, we fight for Biafra, fight for freedom, and some other illegal activities.
Like what and what?
Like fighting against the Nigerian police in Igbo land.
The suspect also made some shocking revelations on how they have been attacking police stations and killing policemen in their state.
You told me you fight against police,
yes,
and you are aware police have been dying in these states as a result of attacks here and there. So yes, tell me.
That's the handwork of the Eastern Security Network. Moreover, Eastern Security Network has no one branch. There are many branches, which I can't even tell you, because we have many branches all over here in Imo State. There are many camps of Eastern Security Network here in Imo State.
Okay, your own camp. Have you people attacked police before? Your own camp? Yeah.
Yes, sir. In Ogo police station, sir.
What and what did you do there?
We went there to attack some policemen, sir. So on the process, after the work, we lost one of our members.
The Commissioner for Police also used the medium to assure residents of the state of their preparedness to keep the state safe and secured during and after the Yuletide.
And I'm appealing to Imolites in and out of this country. They are free to come to Imo and celebrate their Christmas and New Year festival without any molestation. Thank you.
Danjuma said all suspects will be charged to court to face the wrath of the law upon the completion of the investigation. At Jibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
In the meantime, the Nigerian Navy has arrested 17 people said to be engaged in the illegal siphoning of crude oil in Ondo State. Navy spokesperson Commodore Adedotun Olukayode, who disclosed this in a statement, said the suspects were nabbed at the forward operating base Ibokoda in the early hours of Thursday. Also intercepted by the naval authorities was a 77-meter-long motor tanker, Veneralis 1 Lagos. The naval spokesman stated that on arrival at the scene, it was discovered that the vessel was actively involved in siphoning of crude oil from both sides of the wellhead. He noted that the arrest of MT Veneralis 1 Lagos shows the Nigerian Navy's determination to curb crude oil theft and all manners of illegalities in Nigeria's maritime domain. And now the police on Friday confirmed it had apprehended the special constabularies who were caught in a viral video demanding money from a Dutch woman rider in the Ojobodo area along Eseyin Obomosho Road in Oyo. Details of the arrest were revealed in a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi, who explained that they were arrested for unprofessionalism, unacceptable and punishable acts. Adejobi also disclosed that the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Command, Adebola Ayinde Hamzat, has instituted a disciplinary procedure on the matter. He assured that the force will, however, intensify efforts in commencing the reorientation program as initiated by the Inspector General of Police for officers and men of the force to address issues of this nature and reposition the Nigerian police. Meanwhile, the Vice President Kashim Shettima has inaugurated the National Council on Privatisation. The council is chaired by the Vice President himself. Other members of the committee are the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senators and members of the House of Representatives, at the Bureau of Public Enterprises, as well as members of the private sector. The mandates of the NCP include commercialization, privatization, and optimization of government investments, and to implement the strategy of increasing the value that the federal government gets from its investments. The council is to also oversee the outright sales of some assets of the government. In another development, the Senate Committee on Labor and Productivity on Friday pledged to augment the 2024 budget of the Labor Ministry to enable it aligned with the ministry's proposed allocation of 13 billion naira. This followed a motion raised by Senator Tahir Mungunu during the committee's meeting with the Ministry of Labor and Employment at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. The ministry highlighted the challenge of inadequate funding in the Labor Ministry, pointing out that insufficient funding for labor issues contributes to civil unrest in some African countries.
That this committee and indeed the Senate has the power of appropriation. So nobody should go away with the impression that we don't have any authority to tinker with the budget. This budget as presented by the executive is not sacrosanct. It's subject to tinkering by the legislature. So as such, we have all the powers of appropriation. This is very clear and unequivocal in the Constitution. The power of appropriation lies with the National Assembly. So if in our wisdom and in the wisdom of our appropriation committee and the leadership that the allocation that is made given to the Ministry of Labor and Productivity is grossly inadequate, we have all the powers to tinker it and increase it in tandem with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President.
There was every strike everywhere. There were reasons for some of this strike. If the ministry is well funded, there will be no strike in Nigeria. No strike in Nigeria. There will be no strike in Nigeria. You can see most of the African countries now, they are collapsing and people are now changing government because the workers are not adequately kept. But the engine room is here. I'm very happy with the proposal by the chairman and distinguished senators.
This committee, that what has been submitted, what has been estimated, or the envelope given to Ministry of Labor and Productivity should be increased? Yes. Is it all your opinion? Yes.
Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is alerting banks and Nigerians to be aware of counterfeit banknotes, especially higher denominations now spent in food markets and other commercial hubs in the country. According to the Apex Bank, it is an offence punishable by imprisonment for any person to falsify, make or counterfeit any banknote or coin issued by the CBN. CBN disclosed this in a statement signed by its Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Mrs. Sidi Ali Hakama. The CBN say it is in constant collaboration with relevant security and financial agencies to confiscate fake Naira banknotes, arrest and prosecute counterfeiters. Members of the public are also encouraged to report anyone suspected of having counterfeit Naira banknotes to the nearest police station. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations has summoned the heads of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olaide Cardoso, FIRS boss and the Comptroller General of Customs to appear in person before the House Committee unfailingly on Monday, 11th December. The Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations, Honorable Abubakar Kabir Bichi, had during the interactive session with relevant MDS on Appropriations Bill 2024, refused to allow representatives of these three organizations represent their bosses at the ongoing budget interaction. The report.
The Appropriations Committee is a congressional committee responsible for allocating federal funds to government agencies, departments, and organizations on an annual basis. In view of these, Chairman of the committee, Honorable Bichi, went ahead to state the objective of the engagement, which, among others, is to provide highlights on some key issues in relation to the preparation, enactment, and implementation of the 2024 budget.
On Monday, all the revenue people, we want them here. The more they are delaying the budget. They are not delaying the National Assembly, they are delaying the budget. Let them know they are delaying the budget process. If they didn't show, we expect all of them to be here. CBN Governor, Minister of Finance, Minister of Petroleum, Controller General, MPA.
However, the committee still had time to take on the Ministries of Budget and Planning as well as the Debt Management Office. They both lamented the poor economic downturn being experienced in the country, but pledged to raise the country's GDP ratio from 10% to 18% as demanded by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
There is a lot the private sector can do, so I should also see my role as a minister as that of inviting the private sector, marketing them so that they can do those things which appropriation cannot give me the money to do. We are not going to have enough money to build all the houses we require and indeed the roads we require. So the ministers are urged to think, and it has been done before.
As the level of borrowing increases, because these are borrowings, they are debt, you have to service them, so debt service also increases, just to make that basic point. Again, just to say again for the purpose of all of us here, we run budget deficits, yes, that's because there are programs and projects in the budget that the government wants to run. If we go back from 2015, 2016, we know we've been through about 2 or 3 recessions. We had one in 2016, 2017. We also had one during COVID. So a lot of that bringing the economy out of recession was funded from borrowing. The first one was through the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. Then the last one we had was during COVID. So debt has increased.
The session closed with the chairman calling on MDAs to respond to invitation by the committee to enable the country to tackle the economic challenges that has brought untold hardship on Nigerians.
This is Trust TV News Update, coming off after the break. Police engage stakeholders on peace building in Kano State over security. Details of that and more after the break. Stay with us.
It's time to Jackpa for more fun. This season, there are loads of exciting content. Enjoy all the drama, intrigue, suspense, and romance in a wide range of telenovela series, Nollywood movies, Bollywood, kiddies program, and introducing our new kiddies channel, Wooing. After 5 years of waiting, the Nigerian Premier Football League is finally back, live and exclusively on Star Times.
Enjoy more this season with our Jackpa promo. Recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet and get 14 days free. Or recharge 2 months and get upgraded to a higher bouquet. Wow! Recharge now on Jackpa for more fun and stand a chance to win Sundial TV and other fantastic gifts. Offer runs till January 20, 2024. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times. Entertain your family.
This is Africa Update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba. Thanks for joining.
Rest of Africa, stand and make sure that our people understand.
And the story of the OAU can be told and retold. It cannot be denied that it made a contribution to the process of decolonization of the continent in many ways.
Ethiopia is where it is today in no small part because of the tireless efforts of the African Union and the wisdom of its deeply held belief in the principle of African solution to African problems.
The bulk of African countries were under colonial rule in 1945. So they did not take part in the negotiations that established the Bretton Woods institutions.
But the African continent is not included in the South-South relations. And therefore, our objective is to ensure that the Africa Free Trade Agreement is actually implemented. And the BRICS countries, all of them are trading with Africa.
And we know that there are resources in Sudan, especially in Darfur. And that is why Darfur has been on the front burner for a long time.
So Cameroonians are anxious, Cameroonians are impatient, Cameroonians are like, oh, many of the guys are not talking today. You can read it all over the social media.
Egypt has officially declined to accept fleeing Palestinians for fear that the more Palestinians we accept across the border into Egypt, the more trouble there may be for the country in the nearest and farthest future.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our major stories. The students protest as gunmen kidnap 17 Lafayette University students in Nasarawa. And NYSC confirms release of 2 abducted Corps members in Zamfara. Now, to other stories. A federal high court sitting in Akure, the state capital, has granted stringent bail conditions to 3 persons who were arrested for UTME registration impersonation examination malpractice. Timilaya Akinwale, Olayinka Mustafa, and Peter Okereke were arrested on February 15, 2023 at Aina Awaf International College, Iluabo, which was a CBT center for JAMB registration and examination. They were arraigned and remanded in prison in May 2023. At the resumed hearing of the case on Thursday, Justice T.O. Adegoke granted bail to the defendants in the sum of 1 million naira each, with sureties who must have a company registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, and do business within Akure Metropolis. Justice Adegoke ruled that the sureties must show evidence of tax clearance for the past 3 years and must deposit the original copies of their company registration certificates with the registrar of the court, while the sum of 1 million naira from each of the defendants must be deposited in the account to be provided by the court registrar. The sureties and each of the defendants, according to the judge, must write an undertaking that the defendants will attend their trial till the conclusion of the case. Now, in another development, as political tension simmers in Kano ahead of the highly anticipated Supreme Court judgment on the state governorship election, the police is reviewing its security parameters to prevent the breakdown of law and order. The Kano Police Command had, after a strategic meeting with the political stakeholders, PF, both NNPP and APC, announced a robust plan to curtail security threats facing the state. Idris Jibrin has more.
These are leaders of two rival political parties in Kano meeting with heads of all security agencies over the governorship election dispute pending before the Supreme Court. At the end of this meeting, the security situation is reviewed and arrangements are agreed upon to be put in place for ensuring no breakdown of law and order during the forthcoming Supreme Court verdict.
The police command had adequately attended to a number of plots by some faceless political pressure groups who are hell-bent on fomenting trouble to stampede on the general security situation of the state from being very peaceful as it is at now. However, we must appreciate and commend the leadership of both the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, and the All Progressive Congress, APC.
Going forward, the police command is also embarking on general sensitization of all stakeholders, including religious leaders, community groups, and civil society organizations, among other concerned citizens in Kano. The command assures that no stone will be left unturned in ensuring peace and stability before, during and after the Supreme Court verdict.
The meeting addressed some emerging security concerns with the leadership of both the New Nigeria People's Party and the All Progressive Congress, APC, some selected local government council chairmen. At the end of the meeting, all the stakeholders reiterated their commitment towards sustaining the peace accord signed.
For these political leaders in Kano, peaceful coexistence in the state is not negotiable, as they reiterated their commitments towards sustaining the peace accord they earlier signed.
We are proud to say that the security agency have never found us wanting in one thing or other. So thank you, the good people of Kano State, and thank you, the NNPP supporters in Kano State, and even the opposition party, those that wanted to take our mandate through court, but God will not give them that power.
Last month, there was a peace accord that was signed here. Without making emphasis, you know those who violated that peace. So I don't have to be making noise here, pretending to be what I am not, or pretending to be what the APC is not.
The appeal court in Abuja had earlier upheld judgment of the election tribunal, which affirmed the APC candidate Nasiru Gawuna as the duly elected governor of Kano State, a situation that led to protests and confrontation with the police across many parts of Kano State. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, the federal government has announced plans to shut down public buildings that do not comply with the minimum standards of accessibility for persons with disabilities from January 17, 2024. The Executive Secretary and National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, James Ladu, disclosed this on Thursday while briefing newsmen in Abuja. The briefing was part of the 16th day's activism to commemorate the 2023 International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Ladu said the Commission will swing into action immediately after the expression of the 5-year ultimatum given to organizations by the federal government, which is expected to elapse on January 16, 2024. And on the international news, the Canadian government has raised its cost of living financial requirements for study permit applicants, basically for international students, to $20,000 from $10,000 starting from January 1st, 2024. This was made known by the country's Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Mark Miller, in a statement on Friday. According to him, from 2024, a single applicant will need to show they have 20,635, representing 75% of legal, in addition to their first year of tuition and travel cost, adding that this change will apply to new study permit applications received on or after January 1st, 2024. Starting January 1st, 2024, the cost of living financial requirement for study permit applicants will be raised so that international students are financially prepared for life in Canada. For close to 2 decades, study permit applicants for international students have remained at $10,000. This review, which takes effect from January 1st, will help prevent students' vulnerability and exploitation, the statement added. This development is coming a few days after the United Kingdom introduced a new set of rules that will make it more difficult for Nigerians and other applicants to obtain a visa. Home Secretary James Cleverly announced the changes in the House of Commons. Now finally, on sports news, Russian and Belarusian athletes who have qualified for the Paris 2024 Olympics will be allowed to participate as neutrals, the International Olympic Committee has confirmed. The conditions of their inclusion include competing without flags, emblems or anthems of their country. Athletes from those nations were banned following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Ukraine had threatened to boycott the games if the ban was not upheld, but Ukraine's sports minister Vadim Hotiseit told Reuters in July it could drop that threat if Russian and Belarusian athletes were made to compete under a neutral flag. Friday's decision comes after Olympic sports federations asked the IOC to allow Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete as neutrals in Paris earlier this week. Still on sports news, former world #1 Naomi Osaka has set her sights on the 2024 Paris Olympics as she prepares to return to action at the Brisbane International. The 26-year-old who gave birth to her first child in July has not played competitively since September 2022. The Brisbane International runs between 31st December and 7th January. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.